We have a guest visitor to Joyce's Household Hacks today. Dr. Raymond Nadolny is visiting our show, and we have made sure to shut off the electricity here. Be very careful and mostly make sure that you have somebody who knows what they're doing do this, because it's live electricity that can cause people to be electrocuted, which means killed. And so you want to make sure that you have somebody who knows what they're doing. Dr. Nadolny has done this before, and I am just watching so I can learn, because I have not done this before. And so we shut off the electricity. What I make sure to do whenever we flip the circuit breaker off is to put, something that we know works, a lamp, in both of the outlets. Okay, so we took that broken one out. You see it's broken. We've got a new one that's also got USB charging in it that we are about to install.
So now all we're doing is we're going to connect the wires to this outlet, and then we're going to push this in. We're going to actually put this on here, and then looks like it folds them this way. So it'll just push back in, and then turn on the breaker, and then it should work. So let's take a look.
Okay, and how do you remember which one is the red one, which one is the yellow, white one, and which one is the green one?
Each of these comes with a little paper, and the paper will tell you what color goes to where. White is neutral, and you've got a hot wire, and then you've got a ground wire. So basically, you're just making sure that you can see that there's a neutral, a hot, and a ground wire. Ground is usually always green.
Well, that's easy to remember. G for ground, G for green. Neutral. White is neutral. Okay. And then red is hot, as in red hot.
If you could see, this actually says white here. So there's a white wire that'll hook up to here. Hot is the red and the ground is the green. So that's below here. And then you just unscrew this and then put the wire around it. And then once the three wires are connected, you then put the plate against here, and then voila, you're done.
So I have a question. Just like when you're using jump starting cables for a car battery, there is an order, and you put the neutral one on first?
It doesn't matter. No, because as long as the breaker is off and there's no electric current running through it, it doesn't matter which ones you put on first or second.
Is there a best practice, though, so that you always remember?
Not that I'm aware of. So sometimes when these wires are tight, so you might want to take a screwdriver and open it up a little bit. You just by turning it, or you get a pliers to do it. But now I have the white, and I'm going to now move this around the white. Maybe I'll need to move the screw a little bit farther out.
So that you have more depth to put it around?
Yep, like that.
Do you want me to get a pair of pliers?
No, I think I can. If you watch me. See? Oh. I just opened it up a little bit.
Oh, and that, I think, is made of copper, right? And that's why sometimes people will steal, because copper is very valuable.
Here. See that? And then you just screw this so that it tightens it against the white wire.
Do you need to push that a little more closed?
No, it's good. You can see it's there.
So now we're going to
open that just a little bit. Pliers are probably better, but if you can do it, just do it.
Here are needle nose pliers, and you'll see that we're going to use pliers just to do something different.
There we go.
And you want to make sure the screw is unscrewed enough so that you have that depth. don't know if we got this on video yet, but we're just unscrewing so that there is room between the top of the screw and the surface.
This is where I'm going to get the needle nose, which is a little bit easier to work with. And just open this up a little bit. There. Let's see if I'm able to.
Now, is there a danger that copper is pretty pliable. Is there risk of it breaking?
Yeah. Depending on how old, in an older apartment where this has been done several times and the wire's been, used to
Opened and closed again.
Open and close again, the metal becomes fatigued and can break. But this is a fairly newer building, so. Okay.
It doesn't look like it's fatigued to the point where it's going to break.
The difficulty is that we have a bed here that we weren't able to pull up far enough. So this is not ideal in terms of doing this, but you can see that this is where the screw goes in. So the idea is to push this in, and then
It looks like it's to the right of it. It doesn't look like it is in the hole? You can't tell.
it's in the hole, and now I'm screwing in. And I'm not going to screw it all the way in because I have to do the bottom too. So I need a little bit of leverage, but it's screwed up and far enough in that I can now work on this one on the bottom. And you don't want to screw it all the way in on the top because you want to make sure you have enough room to move that screw around. And you can actually, if you look to the side, you might be able to see where the screw goes in. And I'm going to pull the screw out because it's actually on an angle now. And I need to pull it out a little bit more because these screws are.
And this is one of the reasons that we want to make sure that we don't screw it all the way in, because if you screw the top one all the way in, then you're at a bad angle to get the bottom one in. So screw the top one in a little, then the bottom one in a little, and then you just sort of take turns between the top and the bottom.
So I'm screwing the bottom in all the way, and now I'm gonna, or almost all the way, because now I have to do this one. You can see it's going in. You can see that right above the screw, there's another screw that comes in. Do you see that hole right above the screw? Mm-hmm. Well, what's going to happen is that with this plate, I believe you've got, you need to actually, this is two pieces. So somehow I have to take out this piece because that's what's going to allow me to put a screw into this and make this flush. So you want to take a screwdriver, flathead, and then you'll open this up.
Is that plastic or rubber? It's plastic, right?
It's plastic.
Seems like it could break easily.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? But I've got it open here, and I have to, almost feels like it's gonna break. Here's the two screws, and like I said, this is gonna come right here, and I'll open this up.
And one of the things I was going to say is, before putting on any of the plates and screwing it in too much, I like to just turn the circuit breaker back on, put some piece of like a lamp or something that needs electricity in, make sure it's working, which it was, which it is, and then now we're ready to, we've tested it out, and now we're ready to put on these different plates. Got that little screw that Dad was just talking about. That goes at the top of this inside plate into the hole at the top of that metal brace.
And look at the other screw.
And there's one at the bottom as well. And then as we did earlier. You tighten one, then the other, then the one, then the other.
And then now that this is tightened, this piece should just clip on. Voila!
Yay! And let's see if a phone charges.
Hey, the light didn't turn on. I'm just kidding.
Oh, because it's not plugged in. Silly. Okay, and so now we've got the USB cord that goes straight into the outlet. I'm going to plug it into my phone, which you can't see, or maybe we should plug it into Emma's phone. So here we've got Emma's phone, and we've got, and it looks like,
Charged.
yay! And then we can just throw out this other outlet because it's broken anyway.